battery alone costs more than a new one of these, even in today's money. The electric blower will be used in all those circumstances. I think it's perfect. We're gonna go ahead and compare this 15-year-old blower to my Ridgid Brushless 18 volt. We're gonna compare them. Let's just see what they do. I wonder, out of all my viewers, we all live in different regions of the country. Some of us outside of the United States. How many of you have to haul your own trash? And I'm not saying this in a negative light. I don't mind it at all. But my trash, I'm responsible for it. There's dumpsters in the county that I can go take them to, or I can go to, it's called the transfer station here, not the dump. I've always thought of a place where you go dump your trash as a dump, but here they call it a transfer station because I think that's not the main dump. They got them all over the place. My typical habit is I fill these up with trash, put them in the back of a pickup truck, and drive them off. Do you do that, or do you live out in the rural on 50 acres on a dirt road and do you have trash pickup? Just curious. I'm not saying anything's good or bad, just asking. Now around here, this accumulates leaves, and I need to clean this up because critters, also it could be a path for termites to get into the house possibly. And these right here are what we store our animal food in to keep it away from raccoons and such. We're gonna start on the other side of the house and wrap our way around here. We got two blowers. I've always done this with a gasoline blower. It's because I've always kind of figured that, well, I haven't had this that long. We use this a lot for blowing off the deck. When pine needles fall, even when we had a really dry snow, I used this. Go ahead and give it a shot. Let's see what this does. Now, I'm gonna show you regular without turbo, and then I will show you turbo. Let's take a look. So that's without turbo and with turbo. Okay. Get this the rest of the way here. All right, so I feel like it does a pretty good job. Let's go ahead and wrap around here. Wow. I can tell you right now, this thing seems pretty stout. Yep. Let's re-look at this over here. I have a feeling that's going to blow a lot more of that out. Now this is going to be regular without turbo. Without turbo and with turbo. Try to blow this out here. Turbo again. why I'm doing this. I've recently had some questions about, hey Joe, what kind of blower should I get? Boy, when I blow that off, I forget how rocky it is. I kind of want to talk about what the strengths are here. When I get my sawmill set back up, a blower is critical to keep it blown out, keep everything operating smoothly. The blower I'm going to use at the sawmill will be the electric one, without a doubt. When I'm blowing out my shop, my shed, I call that my shop for right now, guys. I'm going to use the electric one. When I blow off my deck, I'm going to use the electric one. If I'm in a building project, a structure where there's sawdust around and chips and all that, drilling for electrical, I'm going to use the electric. When I am washing a car and trying to blow out the cracks, I'm going to use the electric. It works great for that, by the way. I don't wash my black truck very often, or my wife's black truck, I should say. But I will say this, you know how water just keeps coming, right? The blower is awesome for blowing out all the little crevices. And the gas ones blow exhaust fumes along with the air at the vehicle. I don't know if that's, listen, I don't have some Ferrari or Porsche or some, now a Corvette's $100,000 too, right? Well, shoot, even pickup trucks are $100,000, but I don't have this fantastic exotic where I'm super concerned about the paint, but I just don't feel like the exhaust is probably very good to be blowing at the vehicle. The electric blower will be used in all those circumstances. I think it's perfect. Let's say you have a dinner party and you just want to kind of clean up. I got a lot of pine needles that are that kind of fall, especially when it's breezy certain times of the year. Pine needles just fall and land right on the steps and at the entryway of my home. Nothing wrong with that, but if the whole house is immaculate because we have some people coming over, or you just want to keep it nice and tidy, you can sweep it or you can blow it. And if you're all kind of fresh and clean, I don't know about you, but you go run one of these for 2 minutes and set it down and go put it away, blow off the deck, you're gonna smell like two-stroke. I don't mind that when I'm working, but if I'm gonna be sitting there at a table where my wife has worked hard on dinner, or my mom, or whoever, I don't necessarily want to smell like two-stroke, but I wouldn't mind just blowing off the pine needles, right? That's where this shines. Electric is not cheaper. This is not cheaper than this. You can go buy an Echo one or a Boland's, whatever, for probably less than $200 still, I think. This guy here is, I think, right around that price range, more than $100. And this battery is more money than a blower is. So keep this in mind that it's different tools for different purposes. Yes, of course, I can blow my sawmill. That's how I've always done it. I've always blown my sawmill out with this. This is what I used. But now that I have this, I utilize it. Would I buy 4 of these batteries to be able to run this thing on turbo for an extended time frame? The answer is absolutely not. I'd have $1,000. I'd have $1,000 in battery and blower right here. That's ridiculous. But this will blow out your job site, no problem at all. It'll do a little bit of work around the house. This totally could have done everything that I just did right now. The difference is I can go ahead and use this for an extended time frame. This definitely was more powerful. I had never run them side by side, and I've always wondered if that was the case. Well, this is certainly more powerful. Again, if you are looking for what kind of blower you want, if you've got a 1/10 of an acre yard with maybe 100 leaves that fall on it annually, this is a great option. If you're a tradesman, this is a great option. I like using it for blowing out the back of the pickup truck after doing firewood. There's a lot of things I really like it for. If I only could own one in my current state of life, it would be the gas one. I love running this, but this has served me well for 15 years and it keeps chugging. I've spent probably $10 or $15 maintaining it. I put a cheap spark plug in it with a kit off of eBay years and years and years ago, and this thing just keeps running. And so for that, this will not make it 15 years on this battery. There's just no way on this earth. No matter how much I love this thing, this certainly has more value. And if I have a fire here on the property and I need to blow, make a line to kind of blow loose material away so that way the fire doesn't keep spreading, this is what I'm taking out there. I'm not taking this, because I'd be out there and this will die, and I don't have an extra battery big enough to really run this. It will run off the smaller batteries, but it won't last on turbo for but a minute. Okay, it's all about the battery on electric. I hope that answers some questions for some of you. And for anyone new to the channel, my name is Joe, and this is the Oakie Woodsman Channel. We do a lot of different stuff. I'm just about to start adding on to my shed. That's why I just cut down that tree. Have a good one, and I'll see you later. There's this long-standing debate about whether or not inexpensive or Chinese or homeowner grade, less than name brand tools are worth a darn. This blower here I've had for over 10 years. I want to say it's getting close to 12. I have run this tool faithfully every year, and up until I lived on this property, I used it quite a bit. But I want to kind of take a look, guys. This represents a machine that I've probably, well, I can tell you for sure, certain that I don't clean the air cleaner. I just don't. I never have. It's 10 years old. It's over 10 years old. I will tell you what I have done. The fuel lines and the fuel bulb failed. At one point it started running poorly. And you know what I did? I went and found on eBay a carburetor for probably about $10 or so. I put it on there, bought the special, because it's got like multiple points on it. It's not just a flathead. Bought a special tool. This thing required a ton of disassembly to make that happen. Put that carb on there, and guess what? It has run ever since. At that point, I replaced the air cleaner. You know, see, I think that there's this thing, it happens in every hobby, whether it be chainsaws, bicycles, computers, phones, whatever it is. People get excited about what they've chosen to purchase. This right here was the least expensive, or nearly the least expensive blower at the time. It was a gift to me from my father when I had recently purchased my first home. This thing is probably getting closer, honestly, to 15 years old. What I want to do is I want to explore, and I want to see what the piston looks like, everybody. I've run this thing on, well, I just poured some stale gas out of it, to be honest with you. Now, let's talk about this. When it comes down to quality or professional, I'm about to go pick up my 562 again from the dealership. They could not reproduce an issue. Therefore, they're giving it a clean bill of health. Do I think it's fixed? No. That concept of buy once, cry once does not always apply just because you bought a professional level tool. It's kind of like the argument of, do you need to buy Snap-on for every tool in your toolbox? It's neglected. Oh yeah, and look at that. It's got one of the cheap plugs on it, L7T. This is one of the cheap cruddy ones. All right. What we're going to do now is I'm going to pull the muffler. We're going to just take a look and see what we got going on in here. I haven't pulled this muffler in since I took it apart, honestly. So we're going to just kind of take a look inside this cylinder and see what it looks like after 15 years. Now listen, this was not professionally used, but I live in Oklahoma. I don't live in a place with small yards. I've had half-acre yards, leaves. This has been used quite a bit. All right, so we got the exhaust plate there. We grab a flashlight. All right, you're gonna look at this as I'm looking at it. In fact, we're gonna go ahead and flip this over here. Take a light there. Boy, it's really hard to do this. The guys that show this stuff all the time, props to you. It's not easy. Let's take a look at the piston here. Now, is that just oil or is that scarring? Nope, I think that's just oil. I'm gonna go ahead and take a pencil lead and let's take a look and see what that is there. This thing has not been run in a few months here. That might be, I don't know what that is. But this is the deal. This is what it looks like after 15 years of usage. Now listen, I'm not saying this thing's pristine by any means, but it's 15 years of usage, probably seen some bad fuel run through it, definitely neglect. I know that a blower is not a high performance tool. Spending a lot of money does not mean that it's going to be a quality tool. My 562 has proven that to me. Let's go ahead and give this thing a start. I just pumped it up. Again, 15, and I haven't run this thing in months. The gas was bad in it. I just put fresh gas in it. So I've been cycling fuel through it here. We're gonna go choke. You kind of have to know how to start it here. You got to have your throttle locked. Look at that. Look at that. I have some leaves to clean up that have gathered up around the trash cans and the cat house. That used to be the goose house and the chicken house, or it was actually a brooding house. I'll run this a little bit, but I'm gonna actually go try my Ridgid blower out as well. And the reason why I'm gonna do that is I'm just curious. I've used it to blow off the deck. I've used it to blow out the shed, that kind of stuff. But I don't have a long, extensive job to do. How's that thing gonna work? I'll go ahead and go see if it's worth a darn. Now, on the electric one, I've got to hold the turbo button the entire time, and you do have to have a battery strong enough. I'm not at all suggesting that you buy this instead of a gas blower, but I'm in the Ridgid format, and the battery that I have is fantastic, but the battery alone costs more than a new one of these, even in today's money. So keep that in mind. If you have small jobs, the battery might be a good option.